Hi, it's me, Pete, back for another developer diary. There's been quite a few changes to the game idea over this last week. The main one being, me and my friend are going to be working on it together now for a upcoming game jam which is focused on the theme of esports. So, because of that, we've adapted the idea a bit to fit the game jam theme more. However, once the game jam's over, I'm going to be using all these assets to focus on my original idea once more, which will have more story-based and focused level design. However, now the idea is we're going to have randomly generated levels, as well as there's going to be two teams now. So there's going to be a ninja on each team and a ghost on each team, placing enemies to try and defeat the ninja and possessing enemies, I mean. And a mechanic we came up with was if a ninja kills an enemy, to encourage him to kill enemies, it will then allow the ghost on the other team to be able to spawn that enemy in order to disrupt the other ninja. So over this week, I have been doing quite a lot of animation on the main character. As you can see, there's a lot more sprites than there was before. So I've redone the idle pose, which I'm a lot happier with, as the old one that's still down here just looked it looked a bit too muscular, a bit too chunky, and a bit static with just both his arms to his sides. However, now he's got one arm on his sword as he should, and he's more facing to the right, where as he should be. So I've got the run animations that I'd already done. I've made some minor tweaks to them. And I've also made jump animation so it goes both ways. I've also been working on the attack animation, which I'm actually quite happy with how it came out. Because if I just show it here, by adding this like trail behind it, I'm happy with how it looks, as it makes it seem like the sword's in like a lot more motion. And it also makes it quite clear to understand the range of the sword attack for the player. I've also just been working on, so that's the sword attack while he's in motion, and I've also been working on just like standing still sword attack. And once I've finished this, which I've done it for facing right, I just need to create it for facing the other way, which I'm in the middle of doing now. But then once I've done that, all I need to implement is the sword attack in the air. And then the player will be mostly fully animated until we add more features into the game. So, other than animating the player, I've made a little start on some tiles, however not as much as I would have liked, as I've been trying to get a bit of my coursework done out of the way, because I'm a student like many people. So having to balance your own personal projects and coursework doesn't always turn out the way you want, but I have made a small start nonetheless, and I've also got a background for the level, which is giving me like a starry night sky. And I'm thinking, to make it seem more interesting, I'm going to have a particle system that's going to create meteors in the background, which will be a nice little aesthetic change. And I think that sums up all the progress I've made this week. A lot of it has been just figuring out where we're going to take the idea and how me and my friend were going to adapt it to the theme of esports. And I think we've done that really well. So once the game jam's over, I will be focusing on the original concept, being more story based. However, until the game jam's over, I'm going to be leaning towards the more esport themed 2v2 style of gameplay. And I think that's everything, other than my goals for next week are, we are just beginning to actually create the project in Unity, which is the engine we're using, so I should be able to show that next week. As while I've been doing the sprites right now, my friend's been hooking it up to the animator and getting the movement started. So next week I should be able to show the character actually in motion, as well as I'm going to be creating more of a tile set, designing the levels, because since we're focusing on esports, one change we've made to the original idea is randomly generated levels, just so that it make both teams are going to have the same randomly generated level, because then it will first of all make it harder for the ninja player to just memorize a singular route and speedrun the level. And second, as long as both players are running through the same randomized level, it's completely fair as they're both having to overcome the exact same obstacles. And I think that's everything. So for next week, I should be able to show you like a prototype in Unity of the player running around, jumping, and hopefully attacking, as well as hopefully starting to get some randomly generated like areas in the game and levels. And I think that's everything. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.